the 2003 Emirates Stakes, made possible by our telecast partners, Telstra. Amy, lucky you're with Amy. TUI's new What Mates Do. New L'Oreal Paris Glam Shine. And our telecast sponsors, Lexus, the relentless pursuit of perfection. Harvey Norman, your digital camera specialist. And Lavazza Coffee.
The rumour mill is overflowing like bubbling. And today around Flemington, don't be surprised if some coat tugger tells you that Paris Hilton caught the train home with mummified. It's been that sort of Melbourne Cup carnival. And today we can put on the blinkers to savour the glorious final day, the Emirates Stakes. It's been a week when Lee Friedman was likened to James Bond, shaken but not stirred. Eyes bulging one day, left without a partner for the Cup. Then he's all warm and fuzzy about his special harmony. Friedman, Lee Friedman. And how about those global conquerors? No, not the twins from Holiday Inn. The boys in blue. Don't we colonials get just a little pleasure from seeing that they're only human and equine?
And Mill Street is second last. Mamool has finished last in the Cup.
Till next year, Henry. And thank you, Holy Orders. You're welcome anytime at the Mount Isa Rodeo. And how fabulous the fashions. This is a festival of the flesh, and not all horse flesh. The splashes of colour, the lashes of lunacy. And today this carnival is going out with a bang, not a whimper. It's the final day of an unforgettable festival, Emirates Stakes Day at fabulous Flemington.
Well, so far this week, the stayers have taken centre stage with the Cup, the Derby and the Oaks. But today the spotlight falls on the milers and the two-legged youngsters. A day when mum and dad can come to the races and to soak up the atmosphere, and the kids can also have a great day, can get dressed up and they can go racing in more ways than one. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival for 2003. Emirates Stakes Day, a day when all sorts of records are likely to be broken again. And the gentleman with me at the moment has been predicting records all week very accurately. Simon Marshall, great to have you here.
G'day, Pete. Wonderful to be here on Family Day. The popcorn, the fairy floss will be out in force today. Don't worry about that, mate. It's all about the future of the game, isn't it?
And a much more relaxed day for us today too. Wonderful atmosphere around the place.
Yeah, there is, and there's a big crowd coming in, as you said earlier, Pete, but really looking forward to the Emirates Stakes today. The handicap conditions, they're compressed with the weights, and I'm going with Clang-a-Lang, but we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but it's all about the kids and the fun and the flair.
And it's also about the Emirates Stakes. Now, I've got a bit of a surprise for you, Simon Marshall. I want you to cast your mind back 16 years ago to this day. I think you might remember this moment.
They're followed by Taj Quillo, Western Pango with plenty of room on the inside. Marchakita called on for a run. Isomer is giving the leader 4 lengths start. Tierra Wrist is pulled out wide. Cold Hearted making a bid, and Riverdale's a good way back. Sound Horizon getting through near the rail. Groucho got away, led 2 lengths at the 200 metres over Marchakita, and then Isomer finishing on with Warned and Sound Horizon. Groucho stopping. Marchakita, Warned and Isomer. Marchakita and Warned. A desperate go. Warned got it, I reckon. second. One from
A
Isomer.
16-year-old kid called Simon Marshall winning his first Group 1 race aboard Warned in the Ampol Stakes as it was then, and disobeying instructions, I might add, too.
It was a funny thing. Lee Friedman said, you've drawn barrier 1, he gets back last. When you get to the top of the straight, get to the outside of him
Hang
and
on
go
a
whoosh.
sec. What about that? That mullet?
Mate, that was a Kenny Bacon hairdo. Footloose had just come out then. It was looking like Kenny Bacon there. Had the pimples too, was just going through puberty, Pete. But fantastic. My first spring carnival. We hired a budget bus. We drove all the way out from Cranbourne, and it was just a pleasure to get a ride in a race. But to come from last and do that was an amazing thing, mate.
A day you'll never forget. Let's have a look at the program. The Emirates Stakes, as it is now known as the feature, of course, Group 1, $500,000 at 3:15 local time. All kicks off with the Sport 927 sprint, and that is in round about 10 minutes from now. We've got the Group 2 Maribyrnong Plate, the Group 3 Matriarch Stakes, the Group 2 Queen Elizabeth Stakes later on, which was won last year by a horse called Maccabi Diva. Scratchings, importantly, let's have a look at those at the start of the day, and most of them are emergencies. From the first, we've got 2 Let's Went and 12 Lord Harold out. Emergencies out of race 3 after race 2 is clear. Race 4 is clear. The emergency Appian Way out of race 5, but he's still going to have a run today, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Emergencies out of the Emirates. Sailor Reeve, number 8, comes out of race 7, along with the emergencies 17, 18 and 19. And then the final 2 races on the card, we have Legible, number 6, out of race 8, the Queen Elizabeth, and then 12 Inspire, along with 18 and 19. They are the scratchings for the day. Weather, we have been blessed. It's turning into a beautiful day. A bit cloudy when we got here, but that is clearing. It's going to be fine with a top of 21. And currently it is 16 degrees, and we are looking as though we're going to have a magnificent day at Flemington. So, the state of the track, how's it held up? It has been a big week of racing. Terry Watson and his staff have done a magnificent job. Let's find out as we go to the track. Adam Hamilton.
Yes, thanks very much, Pete. What a wonderful day we've got ahead of us. Day 4 of the carnival, and the track itself, well, I almost feel honoured to be out on this surface where so many champion horses and jockeys have been all week. I'm near the outside running rail here. This might be the spot to be in our straight races. The track, well, it's rated good today. Penetrometer 4.49, and the rail is out 6 metres, the placement it was for Thursday's meeting. Even our own Chief Steward, Des Gleeson, says the track has held up remarkably well. This could be the best surface we've had all week.
Let's hope so. Adam Hamilton out there where the action happens. There are the totes for the Sport 927 Sprint. The first, Ranch $6.50, Holding $8.30, Char $6.70 are the main chances on the first page. Second page, Hossegor, Good Run at Werribee, $6.70, $7.40 about the Canberra Galloper Sir Kelt, number 14. That's the game in the betting at each way odds, and so too is number 17, Midnight Storm. Well, you possibly thought that Maccabi Diva might have been the best stayer here at Flemington this week. I've got news for you. This gentleman's the best stayer. Pat Welsh, how's the battle been?
It's been a long, hard battle. We did back a winner the other day. I'll find a few more today. Nothing much for the top 2 here. Ranch and Holding, both out. I've got to move down the board. Char and Hossegor have both been a little easy, but I've got to move down the board to find out who will probably start favourite. Sir Kelt has been the medium of good, solid backing. There's already a good crowd, and now if you're looking for a bit of value early up in the day, right down the bottom, Much Vanity. I've taken a little bit of money for Much Vanity and firmed it up at 10 points. So a bit of value, Much Vanity, but it looks like Sir Kelt will probably start favourite in the first.
Paddy Welsh, who'll be doing his best throughout the day to find you and find himself a winner. There are the selections. Dr. Turf and I in agreement from the start of the day. That's a worry with Char number 8, and Ken Callender likes the straight track horse Ranch number 1. The map, well, as we said, it is a straight track, one of the most famous in the world. They'll start up at the 1100 metre mark, and possibly the outside rail might see a fair bit of action today. Speaking of seeing a fair bit of action, this lady has seen plenty of action on the fashion front and the fun front right throughout the week. Joanna Griggs.
After being locked away for the entire week in the 7 Network marquee, I'm taking a leaf out of the beautiful Kylie Gillies book and getting out and amongst it today. Kylie, you look stunning. Who are you dressed by?
Oh, thank you. Day 4, I'm down to the basic black. You might have noticed Leona Edmiston, Jan Logan, and my fabulous feathers by Nera de Winter. And your chopsticks?
My chopsticks, this is by Kerry Stanley, the outfit by Trelise Cooper, and Jules by Megan Castron. So we got the fashion out of the way. Now, what are you up to today?
Well, Emirates Stakes Day, plenty of fabulous racing to come, but it is Kids Day, Family Day, lots of mums and dads out, lots of entertainment entertainment for the kids, and the kids have their own fashion on the fields. So we're going to see some gorgeous little kids and how they're all dressed up.
And I'm going to be unleashed on some of the trendier marquees that are out and about. So basically, lots of fun, lots of celebrities with Lavazza celebrity chips with the money going to camp quality. So plenty to look forward to.
Sure is.
Don't Joe and Kylie look spectacular? Don't the horses look spectacular? There's my pick in the first char. We'll see if we can start off on a winning note on Emirates Stakes Day when we come back with a Sport 927 sprint on the other side of this break.
It's the Nissan end-of-year sale, and here are some of the highlights. The Nissan X-Trail comes with all-mode 4x4 and 132 kilowatts of power. But here's a highlight. Free alloy bar and roof bars. That's over $1,100 of extra value. And here's another highlight. Patrol wagon with free bull bar, driving lights and tow bar. That's over $2,100 of extra value. Nissan's end-of-year sale. It's the highlight of the whole year.
Now's the time to renovate. At the Reece Spring Sale, you'll find all the latest bathroom products at prices you just can't afford to miss. Reece Bathroom Sale, now on.
There's an Enyo glove to get everything clean, including us. But if your mummy only has 1 or 2 gloves, tell her to ring an Enyo consultant to see some more.
Enyo, at cleaning we will go.
Chef's Pizzeria, Italiano. 3 new flavors for me. Chef's Pizzeria, Italiano. With the flavor you can see. There's meat lovers, Hawaiian and Suprema. All filled with the flavor you can see. Chef's Pizzeria, Italiano. 3 new flavors for me, with the flavor you can see. Back to work, huh?
Bluemobile will come to you.
Tell me more.
On 133032.
Tell me more.
Bluemobile can do the lot. All more offers on the spot.
There's just one thing you need to do.
On 133032.
For everything mechanical, we've got it.
They'll fix the car.
Bluemobile will come to you. 133032.
That's 133032.
Picking winners has its rewards. Seven and Nissan are giving you the chance to win great prizes, including an Extreme Nissan X-Trail TI or a $1,000 Visa cash passport and rugby memorabilia. Just pick the winner of New Zealand, South Africa or Australia, Scotland and SMS your pick to 188 1007. You'll get 50 rugby reward points and the chance to win the Extreme Nissan X-Trail. Winners announced today, tonight, Monday.
Now that's a good-looking salmon.
In its own way, yes. But it's not good enough for John West.
They didn't reject it.
They did.
They're crazy.
No. This is what you call a dog salmon. It turns out too dry and a bit gray looking. John West was right to reject it.
Hey, he can't do that. John West rejected it, and now he's going to sell it.
Yeah. I don't know how he can live with himself.
It's the fish John West reject that makes John West the best.
Last year, 47,593 people attended Emirates Stakes Day. We only need about 34,300 today to break the all-time record, and that looks as though it's a foregone conclusion because it is a beautiful morning in Melbourne and the racing action is about to get underway with the Sport 927 sprint over 1,100 metres. Let's Went coming out along with Lord Harold as we take you through the tote figures. Let's have a look at some of these horses. Ranch Simon beat a smart one here in October in Chong Tong, and then he was in a much stronger race on Saturday in the Salinger. He got buffeted early and he finished alongside Thorn Park, so that's a good guide for this sort of race.
Yeah, I like the fact he's been down the straight, Peter. Part owned by champion Hawthorn captain Shane Crawford. Good luck to the boys there. And look, I think his last start holds him in good stead here. He'll back up without a problem. Andrew Finlay back on too.
And he's been a little bit easy in the ring, the report is from Pat Welsh. There's Char, number 8. Now, this horse, they've changed the shoeing on him. He got into all sorts of bother on the turn at Moonee Valley first up, finished 4th, and perhaps has probably drawn on the good side, but this horse, too, has been easy.
Yeah, hasn't been down the straight at this time. Actually, one start without a place down the straight, which is a little bit of a worry. Needed to run first up, went fourth at 13 last start at the Valley. Brian Cox, spoke to him in the mounting yard just prior to the race, and he's pretty happy with the horse. Pete?
This is going to be, Simon, I think just about the widest open betting race of the carnival so far. You're almost able to get double each way odds the field in the old parlance, so this is just remarkable, and I think any of the form students who went through would have come up with at least 10 chances here.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of uncertainties with these runners, and being a big field, it's always hard, but they will get to the outside fence, and I'm tipping just something that's going to get a nice little cushy run, such as Ranch, barrier 18's going to have to do no work early, get a nice soft run in behind him. That's why I've got him on top, Pete.
$6.50 for Ranch, $6.70 for Hossegor, $7.10 for Char, $7.10 also for the Canberra Galloper, which is the stablemate of Into the Night racing later on, and that is Sir Celt, and number 3 also in the betting, and that is Holding. Brett Preble, that horse ran a terrific time when it won at Bendigo, breaking 57 seconds for the 1,000 metres.
Yeah, and he's had one start for 1 win at the distance. Bill Mitchell, he's taken this horse to the provincial circuit just to make sure that he's back in winning form, and he's right on song for today. Good chance.
Only a few to move in, so let's get the racing action underway with the Sport 927 Sprint, and your commentator who has done such a magnificent job throughout the first 3 days of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, courtesy of Sky Channel, Greg Miles.
Here's Char taking the outside barrier. That's the game standing in good order. Field is ready for the first. They're set. Racing. Sir Celt stumbled at the start, came out and bumped Char. Jai's Jump Hybrid began okay, and so too Real Dragon. He's spearing across in the white with the red cap. He's up with the leading bunch of horses, and then Participate. Holding coming up the middle of the track, and Mighty Raja in the gold is very wide out on the course at the 650 metre mark now, and Sir Celt against the outside rail had recovered after that awkward beginning to share the lead with Highbury, Real Dragon and Jai's Jump just behind them. Char's running about fourth within 2 lengths of the leading bunch, and they were followed by Midnight Storm, Much Vanity. Star of Flight next starting to work home. Participators hard ridden. Further back is Ranch and Choreograph, and down the outside comes Holding as they come towards the 250 metres now. Real Dragon tackled by Star of Flight, Jai's Jump. Highbury's had enough. Midnight Storm's running on. Choreograph's coming with a run too at the clock tower, and Choreograph hits the lead from Star of Flight, Char, Ranch, Midnight Storm on the far side, but Choreograph is drawing clear in the run home, and it's Choreograph to win it by 2 lengths. Midnight Storm second, Star of Flight third, just in advance of Much Vanity, Char, and then came Ranch, trailed further back Mighty Raja. Hossegor never came into the race, and he was trailed further back in the field then by Highbury. Real Dragon showed pace before weakening, and then Holding and Participate. Sir Celt dropped out of it, and then Only a Dream, Jai's Jump, and that's the game as last of all.
Time for the journey is 1 minute 3.8 seconds. Numbers are 11, 17 and 15. After the running of the first Choreograph, great ride by Danny Nikolic. Well, he's had all sorts of problems throughout the week, but this was a gem of a ride. He really put this horse into the race, and that is Choreograph in the white sleeves in that area. The second and third horses are both in similar colours, Midnight Storm and Star of Flight. So as we pick up the action, gee, this was a good ride, Simon.
Was, Peter. He was back earlier on the outside fence and picking a path. Ranch outside him went to make its run, but it wasn't going good enough. Danny then had to shift 4 horses off without causing any trouble. He got to do that by keeping the horses balanced and poised. When the horse got a little bit of daylight at the clock tower, it was just inevitable. He let the horse down, and he ran away. Very convincing win, this.
18 was fourth, and that was Much Vanity, Kieran McAvoy, the one that Paddy was tipping at big odds, and number 8 in 5th placing, and that was Char. Now, I wouldn't dismiss Char on this performance. You'll be able to see on the head-on, he's got blue sleeves, and he just wasn't able to get clear, and that was after getting a bump at the start as well.
Yeah, he got squeezed up. Pete had to come from the middle of the track to get in and fit, and always nice to get a bit of cover when you're running down the track. Then he found a little bit of traffic getting out, so he didn't have the best of luck today, but I don't think he would have been the winner because it was very smooth. And hands and heels here by Danny Nikolic. Congratulations. He's had a tough week, but well done.
Yeah, it just goes to show that you don't need to pull the whip on them. Some horses will go for you really well, hands and heels. Let's go down to Adam Hamilton with the winning trainer, Robert Smurden.
Thanks, Pete. Yes, Robert Smurden with me. Lovely way to start a feature day like this, Robert.
Yeah, it is, Adam. A winner's a lovely day to start anyway. A lovely way to start any day.
Probably the best pointer for this horse was the 5th here, 2 starts back.
This horse has been racing really well, but he's terribly difficult to ride. If he doesn't get cover, he just over races and runs himself into the ground. And he went to Cranbourne 8 days ago and trialled, and he trialled really, really well. But when he drew the 1, you knew they were all going to come to the outside. It was a bit touch and go whether he'd be able to get him in the spot, but it was knowing the horse and the difficulty of him was an outstanding ride to manoeuvre him through the field the way he did.
Well done, Robert. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Robert Smurden there. Let's go out to Johnny Letts. He's with the winning rider, Danny Nikolic.
Yeah, with Danny Nikolic, and Dan, gee, it's been an upside down and an inside out sort of week, but gee, this was impressive choreograph, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know it's only a restricted race, but he won like a group horse, Dan. That was very impressive.
Dan, he ran really good time, this horse. He just under a second outside the track record, which is, phenomenal for a horse. It's a 1 Metrot win in 12 months, and was never going to lose?
No, he was never going to lose. Robert just said to ride him dead quiet, ride him like you want to have the last run at him, and I never moved on him till inside the clock tower, and he was always going to win. He won like a horse well above average.
Dan, it's a good effort for a horse to draw that side of the track and get a cover up and get home again, isn't it? Because the outside horses seem to have it so much easier than you earlier.
But I put him to sleep early, and he never touched the bridle. At the 600, he wanted to go himself, and I just was able to pick my way through them. And it's a bit of a raffle, these straight races, as where you draw, but I was on the right horse today.
Terrific, and all the best for the rest of the carnival, Dan.
Thanks, Letty.
Well done, Dan Nikolic. Yes, it has been a trying week for him in many ways, but he was vindicated yesterday when the charge against him regarding Mummify was dismissed. Now, we're going to have a look at the start here, and the horses to watch at this area are out here. We'll see the horse on the inside of Chard jumps out badly and really does give him a bit of a whack at that stage, and they came together. And you can look at him knuckle, and he really came out and then just got out on top of Chara as well.
Yeah, sometimes they just forget to lift their front legs or they stumble and they toe the ground, like pouring. Head nearly went to the ground there, but I tell you what, he's lucky he grab hold of his head there and get him up and running.
And that's what happened to Noel Callow the other day, Simon, when they knuckle on landing, and sometimes you go straight out the front door.
Yeah, they got heavy heads, Pete. It's not good for the old shoulder blades for these jocks either, mate.
Exactly right. Damien Oliver broke his collarbone after he won the Melbourne Cup on Doremus on the Thursday after that victory in 1995. OK, we're off and racing. Victory to Danny Nikolic in the first. Numbers 11, 17 and 15 back with the weight signal and the dividends on the Sport 927 Sprint right after this. Yeah, on the first for the numbers 11, 17 and 13. 2 1/4 lengths by a half, 1-3.8. And there are the dividends, 17.30 and 5.70 for Choreograph on Super Tab, 5.50 Midnight Storm, 8.40 for Star of Flight. And the trifecta, a big one to start off, $9,917 in race 1. They are the Super Tab dividends. So, pretty handy horse that, and he came from barrier 1, so he was drawn on the wrong side of the track, but that just to emphasise what a great rider it was from Dan Nikolic. Let's have a look at the totes for race 2. This is the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. It's a Group 2 race over 1,000 metres at 12.25. Picket Fence, interesting how he got his name. We'll come to that a bit later, $3.10. San Zero $4.40, Insurgent $7. Wit and Wisdom, the unraced one here of Matty Ellerton's, has come up pretty short at $5.30. Much better in New South Wales at $9.60. It's the opposite for Fraz Salome, $14.80, shorter in New South Wales. Murray Madeline $8.70, Love Jetta $14.60. And they are the tote figures for race number 2 on the card. So let's go down for the first of our presentations. Our Master of Ceremonies, Jim Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Victoria Racing Club welcomes you to fabulous Flemington and thank you for what has been a spectacular Melbourne Cup Carnival for 2003. It's the last day of the carnival. It's the Emirates Stakes Day and the Emirates Stakes is the feature on the program. It's going to be quite a day. Our first was the Sport 927 Sprint. Assisting with our presentation is a committee member from the VRC, Mr Doug Reid. Welcome to Doug. And also the chairman of Sport 927 to make the official presentation, Mr Alan Fisher.
Thanks, Jim. The chairman, Rod Fitzroy, and fellow racing goes. Sport 927 is delighted to sponsor the Sport 927 Sprint on Emirates Stakes Day. The carnival has reached new heights, and I'm sure today will be no exception. I'd like to congratulate the VRC on the international focus that has been achieved with its promotion of the Melbourne Cup. There have been many great moments during this week, but none better than Maccabee Diva's win on Tuesday. As the voice of racing, Sport 927 is proud of its role that it plays throughout the carnival. On behalf of Sport 927, it is my pleasure to present the trophy to the winners' connections of Choreograph, and on their behalf, I ask Mr Rick Woodman to come forward.
And our thanks to Sport 927. We've got a great association with Melbourne's racing station here at 7, and they have been great supporters over the past couple of years. Well, the first, bookmakers, I think, probably have all monies. Let's find out the latest. Pat Welsh, what can you report after the first, and what can you tell us about the second?
Yes, bookies cheering, not a lot of money for Choreograph. They opened up a picket fence very short in this one, and now getting out to more realistic figures. San Zero, I've had San Zero solid. So too Insurgents, just in a point on Insurgents. Now the one that I can give you is down here at the bottom, Love Jeddah. There's been early money for Love Jeddah in half a point. So that could be the early tip. We weren't too far away on that first with the long shot, but again, a tough betting race. Early favourite, picket fence, but slightly easy.
Pat Welsh in the betting ring. There are the selections. San Zero from me has had the experience up the straight. Wit and Wisdom, the first starter from Dr. Turf. Ken Callender's gone for the tried and true form of picket fence, but interestingly, the Dane Hill one, the filly from Tony McAvoy's yard, number 8, Love Jeddah, certainly well in the betting. And this will be an interesting race because it's a flying 1,000 metres, but the babies love to have the rail beside them. Which way will they go, inside or outside? Well, we'll find out soon enough with the Jayco Maribyrnong plate. We've already spoken to Joanna Griggs and Kylie Gillies, who'll be out enjoying the fun and the kids and all the festivities here today. Let's catch up with another one of our beauties in Shelley Craft.
Today is the day of the little people here at Flemington, and I'm not just talking about the jockeys.
Or us.
That's right. It is Family Day.
It's Kids Day, and they're everywhere, but that doesn't mean we've forgotten the fashion.
Oh, no. As you can see, kids these days have style.
They can do funky, they can do glam, they can do pretty, and we'll be seeing it all a bit later in Fashions on the Field. That is, kids' fashions on the field.
Shelley and Mel out there with the little ones who are going to be all over the place and enjoying themselves on the jumping castles and the putt-putt and everything else that's going on out here at Flemington today. Well, on Saturday, it all kicked off with the greatest day of racing in Australia, perhaps one of the greatest days of racing in the world. It was Amy Victoria Derby Day, and it turned out to be a very memorable day for Damien Oliver and especially for trainer Tony Vassell.
Racing. Noble Red a little slow. Our spur began fast. Elstrom, Golden Breed got away well. Kempinski's on the move from a wide barrier. He's going towards the front. The Derby field is on the swing for home. And Face Venue the leader, but Kempinski is moving into the race with great purpose. Here comes Elstrom on the outside. Al Bahari is going with him. Noble Red battles next. 150 to go. Kempinski in front.